We're up and good to go.
Awesome, thank you. So just don't mind the thunder as a little background drama for this meeting this evening. So want to just say thank you everyone for joining us this evening. This is the historic Third Ward Capital Improvements Project meeting and updates and virtual community engagement meeting. Want to get started with the welcome with the Greater Southeast Management District Board Chair, Brian Smith. Brian, I'll hand it off to you.
Hi, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being on the call. I am Brian Smith, Board Chair of the Greater Southeast Management District, known as Houston Southeast. And I would like to thank and welcome everyone to our virtual community engagement event for the historic Third Ward. So we have some exciting news to share about the capital improvement projects happening within Houston Southeast. And I really hope you enjoy the presentation. I see our council member on and a few others, so I think it's going to be a great evening. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Director Smith. We'll now hear from our council member.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so very much. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to be in the company of those that really understand a historic Third Ward and what is needed. And this group is just phenomenal. And I've gotten a little information on some of the things that are proposed. And so I'm very glad to be a part of this meeting. You know, when you all do things, and we work together, we can really have the community reflect what we are and what we are about. And so I'm looking forward, just as Brian Smith said, I'm looking forward to hearing the information so that we can move forward. And thank you so very much. And yes, that thunder, and it's cold and wet, but thank God for virtual. And so I'm safe and warm and secure, and hopefully you are as well. So thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Director Smith, and thank you, Councilmember Evan Shabazz for making the time to be with us today. And so I will hand it off to Nikki Knight, and she's going to give us the virtual housekeeping notes.
Hey, everybody. So, you know, in this virtual world, we have to have some rules. Thank you guys again for attending. First, this meeting will be recorded so that those who couldn't attend will be able to capture it at a later date. The use of chat and the Q&A format, we ask that your questions go into the chat room, which will be moderated by Dawn Malone. We will attempt to get to all questions. If not, you'll be welcome to send an email to get any other questions answered, excuse me. If you are not one of the speakers, we do ask that you mute your microphone so that we do not have any distractions as we record this meeting on tonight. And at the end of the presentation, this recording will be made available via our website for your use and to share with any other people who have not been able to attend this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. And so before we get started into the formal presentation, again, appreciate those warm welcomes. I want to formally introduce the Greater Southeast Management District and Houston Southeast team. My name is Dawn Malone. I am the program manager, and I will going to start introducing our team. So when I shout you out, please just unmute yourself and say hello. Want to start with the interim executive director of the Greater Southeast Management District and executive director of the OST Alameda TERS number 7, Viola Pettyway.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. And so my esteemed counterpart in the Greater Southeast Management District, who you've already heard from, Nikki Knight, Senior Projects Manager. Say hello again. No.
Hello again. I was muted.
And Olitha Jacobs is also here with us on behalf of the OST Alameda TERS and also with the Greater Southeast Management District. Olitha.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you.
And excuse me, and Gerald Wilson with the OST Alameda TERS number 7. Gerald.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I appreciate you all for coming out.
Thank you, everyone. And also, I do see on the call, want to make sure I recognize some board members from the Greater Southeast Management District. And so I see Hexer Holiday is here. He's a board member and chair of the Enhanced Public Safety Services Committee. And if I catch anyone else as I'm going through, I believe Dr. McDavid is also on the call, board member with the Greater Southeast Management District. And we may have some TERS board members on the call. And if so, I will give them a hello and recognition once we get to that portion of the presentation. All right, so let's get started. Nikki, next slide, please. Next slide.
I think you're muted, Dawn.
I was muted, thank you. Sorry if on my end it popped up a little bit slower. So for those on the call who may not know exactly about Greater Southeast Management District and the geography Houston Southeast, want to share about that with you all really quickly. The Greater Southeast Management District was created in 2001 by the 77th legislature, excuse me. And since inception, the district has been providing services in the areas of economic development, enhanced public safety services, marketing, public relations and perception enhancement, environmental urban design, and transportation and local mobility. The district is comprised of 7 neighborhoods, which we make up Houston Southeast. And those neighborhoods are Herman Park, McGregor, of course, the historic 3rd Ward, Texas Medical Center, OST Palm Center, the universities, and the Museum Park, excuse me. So now that I've shared a bit about what the district does and the geography of the district, this presentation today really does focus on historic 3rd Ward, but want to share some general district by the numbers as it relates to district services. So this is just for 2021, to date, the district has laid 2.1 miles of bike, in the Palm Center area, secured 10 custom bus shelters, which you'll learn more about later on in the presentation. And the enhanced public safety officers, since January 1st of 2021, to date, they've clocked 175 enhanced public safety hours. And just to give you an idea of as it relates to environmental urban design, in 2020, the graffiti abatement team abated 436 parcels of graffiti. And so on track to really be abating a similar amount. Right now, we're at about 7% of that. And of course, the deputy constables are on call for the district 24/7. Okay, Nikki, I'll just let you take this slide.
No problem. So this is just an overview of all of the items or events happening within the district. This is a simple overlay of just some of the things that impact the district and our levels of service. We work in tandem with the city to align with the transit-oriented development aspects, walkable places, opportunity zones, cultural districts, and work to supply unique opportunities for downtown gateways. And so, I'm sorry, one second.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get into part of the reason why we are all here, which is to learn about the district's really exciting projects that you'll see in the upcoming months and actually throughout 2021 and into 2022. So Nikki, I will hand it off to you for this exciting supplemental lighting initiative.
All righty, so thank you, Dawn, again. So this has been a long time coming with the district. The supplemental lighting project is designed to look at options and opportunities to enhance lighting and not only street lighting, but pedestrian scale lighting throughout the district. As we are a destination to a lot of tourists and guests here here in Houston, we're looking at ways to provide an innovative solution to lighting. I'll hand it off to Natalia Beard, who is our prime consultant with SWA Group, to give a brief snapshot of where we are on the project.
Can you hear me, Nikki?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. To support safety, walkability, and economic development, the project looks holistically at the district night environment from the supplemental lighting perspective, along major cultural corridors and economic corridors. And those are Alameda, Emancipation, Blodgett, Holmen, Scott, OST, and Griggs. The goal of the supplemental lighting master plan is to help create continuity, cohesion, and brand recognition for the vast, multidimensional district geography. In the historic Third Ward, that means using lighting to celebrate history. And lighting accomplishes that by highlighting historic and cultural assets, stitching historic destinations with safely lit pedestrian paths, deploying historical lighting aesthetic strategically to unify the historic core within the district, and enhancing area character by establishing layers of visual lighting hierarchy and interest. Emancipation Corridor lighting story includes historic churches, mid-century storefronts, culminating at Emancipation Park, already layered with architectural, pedestrian, and art lighting that's quite beautiful. On Holmen, pedestrian scale street lighting is envisioned to support intimate residential scale and cultural character. It's enhanced with landmark lighting of the Project Row houses, churches, murals, trees, and Columbia Tap Trail crossing. We anticipate that the lighting concepts for this particular area will provide a beautiful day to night experience and also a safer environment.
Thank you, Natalia.
Sure.
Dawn, Banner District.
Thank you. So something else that the district is really excited about is that the district is a designated banner district. And in that spirit, we are working with artists and graphic designers to really create mood boards and a theme for the major corridors for which we'll roll out this banner district program. And so starting in 2021, those corridors are Emancipation Avenue, Alameda, and portions of Palm Center. And so the images that you see now are, of course, very much branded, Houston Southeast, and for this particular mock-up. But the goal of ensuring of the mood boards is to ensure that each neighborhood has its very own unique characteristic. And so these will be changed out for major events that come, of course, in the district and also in adjacent areas in the city of Houston. And we're really excited about this and excited to engage this group even more once we get some updated renderings about the banners, and excited to get you all's input. Really excited about the placemaking opportunities as well that the banners will provide. Okay, next slide.
Me again, guys. So our next project that we're very excited about are our custom bus shelters. This has been a long time coming as we support transit riders throughout the district and just being able to provide, safety from the elements, because we know in Houston it gets extremely hot, and like today there's a lot of rainy weather, and we have a lot of residents and those who work in our district who use public transportation as their primary mode of moving in through and around the city. I will yield the floor to Ms. Griselda Gonzalez of the Goodman Corporation, who is supporting us in this effort.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I'm Griselda with the Goodman Corporation. We are currently working with the Greater Southeast Management District and Metro as well to install custom bus shelters throughout the district. These are pretty much state-of-the-art bus shelters. They include solar LED, safety lighting. These will have USB charging ports. They have recycling and trash receptacles for use by the transit riders. Specifically in the historic 3rd Ward, the first shelter will be installed at the intersection of historic Holmen Street and Emancipation Avenue. This is near the Dolce House and upon completion of the capital improvement projects.
Thank you, Griselda.
Thank you, Griselda. And so that concludes the projects that we're talking about, giving updates on and in this particular presentation. But as Nikki mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, I do encourage everyone to visit HoustonSE.org to stay connected about opportunities, to stay engaged with the district, to learn more about district services, and also to see a very robust calendar of activities happening in the district. So really excited for you all to stay connected in that way. So I want to yield the floor to Theola Pettyway. She is the Executive Director of the OST Alameda TERS. And Theola, excited to learn more about the TERS and also about upcoming TERS projects.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. What I'd like to do is share with everyone and also Council Member Shabazz and the rest of the mayor and Houston City Council for approving a bond issue that allows us to be able to not only plan, design, but also to construct improvements in historic 3rd Ward. The streets that are covered, the streets that are covered in fully from design all the way through planning, design through construction are Emancipation Avenue, historic Holmen Street, Live Oak Street, and there is design that is being funded through our bond issue for both the northern, what is called Section 8 of the Greater 3rd Ward Neighborhood Project, and Section B. And what I'd like to do is turn it over to Gerald Wilson, who is the Capital Project Manager for the Redevelopment Authority and the TERS. And then Gerald will be able to introduce you to what the projects are and also to the project teams. Gerald?
Thank you, Theola. Again, thank you for attending this evening. The OST Alameda Corridors Redevelopment Authority, TERS number 7, has 5 projects underway within historic 3rd Ward that we are presenting to you all this evening. These projects are intended to improve infrastructure within the public right-of-way. It includes improving storm sewer, wastewater, and water lines. The following are our highly qualified teams of consultants who will in turn briefly provide snapshots of their particular projects. First, we have Nathan Shashadri, is the project manager for HR Green. HR Green is providing professional engineering services for Emancipation Avenue reconstruction project. Next, we have Straitman. He's the project manager for CPNY Inc. CPNY will be providing professional engineering services for historic Holmen Street reconstruction project. Long Nguyen, he's the project manager for Half Associates. Half Associates will be providing professional engineering services for Live Oak Street improvements project. John Ivory, he's the project manager for EHRA for the Greater 3rd Ward Neighborhood Project Segment A. And they will, EHRA will be providing engineering services for that project. And lastly, but not least, Carol Harrison. She is the project manager for IDS. And IDS will be providing professional engineering services for the Greater Third Ward Neighborhood Project Segment B. Dawn, if you would please take it from here.
Yes, thanks. So thanks, Gerald, for that kind of outline of the project. And we will start with HR Green.
Good evening, everyone. This is Nathan Sheshadri. Just like Gerald mentioned, I'm the project manager on the Emancipation Avenue project. And a brief info about myself. I've been in the Houston area for the past 12 years. And all these 12 years, I've been working with the OST Alameda Corridors Redevelopment Authority or GSMD on several projects. So we are very happy to be involved with the Emancipation Avenue project. And important team member for the Emancipation Avenue design team is M2L Associates. Mike Moore will be involved with the Emancipation Avenue project for the landscaping and pedestrian amenities scope on the project. So basically the project limits on Emancipation Avenue, it starts from Southmore Boulevard on the south and goes all the way to Elgin. Then we skip the part that was recently constructed from Elgin to McGowan. And then again, the project includes McGowan to Pierce on the north end. That will be the northern limits of the project. Yeah, that's a better closer view. So the scope of the project involves roadway reconstruction and most important of all, storm sewer design. We will be designing the new storm sewer for the latest and more stringent City of Houston criteria. We will also look at replacing the public utilities, water, wastewater, and provide sidewalks and back of curb pedestrian amenities. So that's a brief description of the project scope on Emancipation Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Historic Holmen team.
Hello, good evening. My name is Marcel Strawn. I'm the project manager and engineer with CPNY Inc. For the development of the historic Holmen Street neighborhood project. Myself, in association with Maddie Monsalve, is one of our associate engineers here, as in association with our urban design and landscape partners, Asakura Robinson, led by Hugo Cologne, are pleased to introduce this project to you. Next slide, please. So our project scope extends or includes from St. Emmanuel Street, just west nearby US 69, all the way to Scott Street, roughly 7,000 linear feet. Our planned improvements include reconstruction of pavement, drainage, public utilities to current city standards, and more importantly, evaluating a landscape and streetscape enhancements within the public right-of-way that would promote walkable places within the character or context of the historic Third Ward area. As noted, among some of the historical sites along the corridor of Holmen, we have the Project Row Houses, Riverside Hospital, Columbia Tap Trail, Holmen Street Baptist Church, and the University of Houston, which directly in some form or fashion with the Holmen Street. And of course, all of these will be taken into consideration as far as the connectivity between Emancipation Boulevard from Live Oak and Enes along Holmen. Next slide, please. So right now we're currently in the preliminary design phase, conceptual, if you will. And roughly we are proceeding along those lines along to mid, say June, in which we plan to complete the preliminary design phase. and of course move on to detailed plan specifications and estimate detail design later on in the year. And of course, during the process of the preliminary conceptual engineering, we do certainly plan to have more outreach or public engagements, if you will, with our various constituents and key stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcel. So we'll to the next team, Entitled Street team.
Good evening. Thank you again for having us. I'm Long Wind with Half Associates. We're working on a Live Oak project. With me, I have Emily Anderson, our project principal, Jeremy Austin, our lead designer, and Casey Collins will be the team who's working on the Live Oak Street here project. Can you go next slide, please? All right, thank you. So the limits of our project are from Pierce Street on the north, all the way to Truxillo Street on the south. We'll be working along Live Oak. Our primary improvements will be drainage. We're installing new storm sewer underneath the pavement. And because we're having to tear up the pavement, we'll be replacing pavement and sidewalks, and also looking at opportunities to add parking along Live Oak. The goals for this project is to make Live Oak a better mobility for pedestrians, a safer corridor for walkers. And then we know in the area along Live Oak, there's a lot of places of interest and community centers like the Shape Community Center on the south end. So we look forward to working with the community and making sure that what we design is meets the community's needs. And I think we'll have that opportunity in future public meetings. Currently, we're starting design. We've finished the initial analysis and the study phase. And so we're getting into the drawings. We're hoping to have the design finished by the end of the year and the construction shortly after that. That's all that's a quick summary of our project. Thanks again. And we look forward to getting this project designed and into construction. Thank you.
Thank you. So EHRA, you're up next. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Ivey. I'm the project manager for the Greater Third Ward Neighborhood Projects Section A. EHRA Engineering has been performing engineering services for the Greater Houston area since 1936. We're in our 85th year. The EHRA team consists of Nino and Moore performing environmental services, Corn Associates doing surveying, Geotech performing the geotechnical services, Black Line Engineering performing hydraulics and hydrology, stormwater pollution prevention planning, traffic control planning, construction sequencing. Ross SUE will perform our subsurface utility engineering services, and M2L will perform the landscape architecture. The Section A project area consists of neighborhood streets north of 2M. These streets feed into the Emancipation and Live Oak main streets. The streets within the Project A Section A area include Chaco, Gray, Nagel, Sauer, McGowan, McElhenney, Hadley, Webster, Drew, Dennis, Bastrop, and St. Charles. The engineering services that we will provide include the design of the water lines, wastewater lines, roadways, and sidewalks. And so now I'll pass that on to Carol with the IDS.
Great, thanks, John. Hi, I'm Carol Harrison with IDS Engineering Group, and we are working on the Greater Third Ward Neighborhood Street Section B, which is just south of EHRA's section. Our project team includes IDS as the lead engineer for the project, and M2L Associates, who will be the landscape architect and also coordinating future public outreach efforts. We have United Engineers, who's doing our surveying, Avalis Engineering doing our geotechnical investigation, Intertech PSI doing the environmental site assessment, and lastly, Imbico Engineering and Surveying doing our traffic control design. Our project scope consists of new concrete pavement with curb and gutter, driveway replacement, new sidewalk and wheelchair ramp, landscaping, street lights, drainage improvements, and minor replacement of water and wastewater lines. The total length of roadway improvements is just over 14,000 linear feet. The map provided shows the roadways that we will be improving, and the roadway segments in our projects generally include Twom from Chartres to Sawyer, Anita from Emancipation to Sawyer, Rosalie from Emancipation to Enos, Stewart from St. Emmanuel to west of Live Oak, Francis from St. Emmanuel to east of Delano, Division from St. Charles to Live Oak, St. Charles from Alabama to Division and from Stewart to Rosalie, and Bastrop from Elgin to Alabama. We recently completed our topographic survey and are beginning to work on our preliminary design. We anticipate for the design to be complete in March 2022.
Thank you, Carol. And so I have been receiving, Nikki and I have both been receiving all of the really great questions that are in the chat. And what I'm going to do now is I've been just sharing some questions with her. I'm going to answer a few that I can just knock out now. So one great question, apart from the banners, will there be any other neighborhood gateway entrance installations or signage? So excited to report that yes, apart from the banners, there will be additional gateway entrance signage and lighting. So one, wanted to get the banner project rolled out since the district has been a banner district for about a year and a half. So it's important to get that rolled out to the corridors I mentioned, Almeda, Emancipation, and then also in Palm Center. But really excited about, I could have shared so many more images that SWA has shared with us, but that is something that the district continues to work with SWA on and is part of the supplemental lighting. This district has often been called the gateway to downtown for many reasons, because of Almeda, also because of Emancipation. Their gateway entrances on the 288 and Museum Park side, and then also Scott area near University of Houston. So we understand there are opportunities to provide, to enhance gateways, and that is definitely next on the list after the banners. Nikki, is there a question that I sent over that you wanted to check?
Yes, ma'am. So there are a few questions that came in. Thank you guys for sending them over. There's one question: are there any restrictions to the use of the TERS funds? How are projects chosen? Is there public input? So I'll punt that question to Ms. Pettaway, and Mr. Wilson will follow up on that question.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Yes, the community input has been a part of the efforts to do work in historic Third Ward since the Third Ward Redevelopment Council, which was set up to move through a plan that started with community input about what was needed to actually turn things around in historic Third Ward. As a matter of fact, Judge Zanetta Burney is the chair of the TERS board, and the primary focus at the time this TERS was actually organized in 1997, it was set up by the city as a non-petition TERS, and then it received the designation, the development of a redevelopment authority so that we could move forward to do work. The initial intent was to deal with improving Third Ward. And so at the time, Third Ward, with these technical rules about what property could be included in a TERS, in the whole process ages ago, only 10% of residential property could be included in the boundaries of a TERS that allowed you to do all the improvements that you're finally seeing coming to the table now. This planning and community engagement started way back. And so it has been at the top of the list. There's been changes in legislation, and it's only been a few years ago, which is like 2007, that we were able to, because of some changes in the law and also with the permission of the mayor and city council at the time, to annex part of historic Third Ward that allowed us to wrap in the boundaries of Emancipation Park. We got some streets in it, but we were not allowed by the TERS to add real estate property within the boundaries of the TERS that is would allow us, as development happens, to be able to fund projects in the TERS, because it just wasn't politically feasible at that time. But we were able to, as a priority, and that's with the driving leadership of the TERS board, which we have quite a few of those members here, and one of the past members also, Sylvia Brooks. I saw Sylvia in the room. Sylvia was a member at the time when we first started the TERS to move to implement improvements in historic Third Ward. Judge Zanetta Burney is the board chair, and I know that I saw Aljanita Scott Davis, she's here, Antoine Bryan, Hector Holliday, Brian Smith. I don't know if the other two board members are in the room, but those are 5 of the 7 board members. And so when we talk about the community engagement, it's been way back since 1995. And so it has continued throughout that time with the focus on engaging, informing, receiving input. And one of the things that Gerald has introduced in the teams, and the teams has mentioned to you, this is brought to you, presented to you by Greater Southeast Management District, which is really looking at making sure we involve and communicate with everybody about everything that's going on, get you involved in knowing who's been engaged to do work, to be able to let you know where your opportunities to give your input. As the team has said, they'll be looking at the entire public right of way, and you get the opportunity as the project teams start rolling out those meetings to come in and talk about enhancements, not just the infrastructure that we care about, getting the flooding, stormwater and things fixed, getting adequate water lines so that if there's density in development, which we want to see, you got to have the infrastructure to allow that to happen. But not only with the streets like Emancipation, Live Oak in particular, and as the team mentioned about, historic Holmen Street, those are opportunities for us to talk about things that come all the way from the infrastructure, the water to sewer and all that, to public right of way. What about the width of the sidewalks? Nikki and Don had talked about the district working on supplemental lighting that are strategically targeted for corridors in there. The design team with the district is working on that. There'll be opportunities to incorporate the design of those supplemental lightings into the corridors where we're doing actual construction, which is all 3 streets of Emancipation, not only design, but construction also of Emancipation, Live Oak, and historic Holmen Street. So with that in mind, the work that's there, the opportunity is ongoing. We invite you, for those of you that the district has asked, to make sure you log in. If you haven't registered, I'm sure it'll be in the chat and Nikki and Don will go over how you can get in the database so you'll know about when these meetings are going to be held. The project teams will be managing those meetings, will be in there with you in the weeds, getting into the details. So your opportunity to participate is now. The district is rolling it out so you can be able to do that. And I'd like to also acknowledge, just so you know, other people in here, the person that's in the room is Debbie Juno. Debbie is the one that answers that phone, and she's been around in the area for a while. So Debbie, can you just unmute and say hi? So when they call in, they'll say, oh, I've heard that voice before. Can you speak up, Debbie?
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Debbie is the one that knows everybody, everything. And if she does, once you communicated with it, she'll make sure that even though we are operating remotely, we are anchored in our remote way to keep connected with you. So Debbie will answer that phone live every day. Or if she's not, there's someone backing her up. She's the front end. The other staff person that's managing the administrative services that was introduced by Don earlier is Oletha Miller Jacobs. Oletha, if you can say hi. to let everybody know, because you're backing it up with your team, and I don't think Taloria is here, but she's the third one that works with Oletha in administration. Can you say hello, Oletha?
Hello, everyone. I'm Oletha Jacobs, and feel free to contact me or any of my team at any time. Hello, Director Bryant. Thank you.
Okay, and so we also have as we've introduced Oletha and Gerald earlier, I see Dr. Missiel Obregon. Missiel, if you would just say hello. Missiel is working with both the management district and the TERS, as is Oletha and Gerald and me. And others are sharing in some responsibilities. So Dr. Obregon, if you would just say hello. Missiel is works a lot on the data, the analysis of things, working on the client relationship management system with the district, and we're working, the TERS is working closely with the district to actually keep that, the marketing, promoting and things, which is a major part of the district's responsibilities, in partnership, as the council member says, and working together in collaborative, coordinated ways makes everything better. So if Dr. Obregon, if you'll say hello also, so he's a person that you may end up talking with or seeing, or he may get a survey from him, so that we get feedback and we use that feedback to make sure we're listening to you, we're responsive, and we're incorporating it where appropriate into what we're doing. So Dr. Obregon.
Sure. Hi. Glad to be here. Really excited about all the ongoings at the district, and y'all welcome to reach out to me with any data issues or anything like that.
Thank you. And the last person, we got a holdover, so she's in there helping us do some things, but Lola Latajobi is just completed her degree from Texas Southern in transportation planning. She's been working closely with the TERS and the management district on transportation projects and things like that. She was referred to us by Dr. Carol Lewis at Texas Southern, and we're excited to have Lola in there. So she's kind of, like I said, a holdover because she just graduated. So Lola, if you could just say hello to everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Lola.
Hi, thank you for coming.
Thank you. And so Don, I know I went to other levels of it, but I want to introduce the people. So anyone that had questions about how you can get your input, you know the names of the people and you've heard their voices. So we're there to be able to make sure we work closely with all of the organizations that are out there. And I know like Lucy Bremon with the Emancipation Park Conservancy, Alicia Neal with the Emancipation Economic Development Council, the Emancipation Avenue Rehabilitation Project will be doing a lot of work closely with both the EEDC and Emancipation Park and other entities that are along that historic corridor also. And I'd like to also acknowledge that Naomi Carrier, who is is a consultant with us, wasn't able to make it, but she had a presentation tonight. But she's working with the project teams to make sure there's what is called an incorporation of the African-American history and cultural elements in the improvements that are being done. Naomi is with the Texas Center for, I'm getting that thing, TCALA is the Texas Center for African-American Living History. So part of what the historical infusion, because this neighborhood has a lot of history, and when we have an opportunity to do infrastructure improvements, and as Gerald said, the entire public right-of-way, which means everything from the private property, which includes sidewalks where we can put art, benches, and other elements in addition to lighting, we want to make sure that's reflective of the proud history of historic Third Ward. And Naomi, who worked with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee on the work to get the trail for emancipation from Galveston and all of that. I can't give you all the details. You'd have to get with her and the team on that to connect it. And we're looking at economic development, which is how tourism and other elements and other aspects that can be incorporated as we do these infrastructure improvements. So back at you, Don.
Thank you. So there are two questions I want to ensure that we get to. We've been asked them a few times in the chat, and that's one, At what point will all the street constructions be completed? Gerald?
So the designs are being proposed to be completed in December of 2022. For instance, Live Oak and Emancipation, which are the longer project limits, it may take 12 months to construct. These dates are estimates, and they can change because we have so many moving parts, weather, things like that. So we're actually shooting for 23 for these roadways to be completed.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thanks, Gerald. Quick question I wanted to get to, Nikki, you may have one on your line as well, but another question, will any of these projects provide jobs for third ward residents? So really important question. I'm glad that two people actually asked this question. So the answer is yes. As Gerald mentioned, this is a long process, and being a resident of the third ward will be a major factor while in considering construction teams to complete this construction work and any other services that are associated with these projects. So the answer is a resounding yes. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Dawn.
So we have a question?
Yes, ma'am. We have one other question. It was, to what extent have you coordinated proposed CIP upgrades to Emancipation and Live Oak with the proposed Metro Boost upgrades to Route 54, the McGowan and Scott route? And I did punt this to Gerald for an answer. Thank you.
So that's a good size question. So it is part of the design teams, each and every one of them, to coordinate with Metro to see how those Metro projects interact with the construction. So they will be in coordination with a Metro. Staff, authority in district will be in those coordination meetings, and we go from there. But important is that we, as the project teams, coordinate with entities, City of Houston, Metro, Harris County, TxDOT, in order to put together a complete set of plans.
Thank you, Gerald. And there is one other question. One second. So I think one other question. Will the proposed lighting for the Columbia Tap Trail only be installed at the intersection with Holmen, or will it extend along the trail? Any other proposed upgrades or funding for the Columbia Tap Trail? So I'll actually take that question. We've been coordinating as a district with the council member's office, TSU, City of Houston, and the management district and the TERS to talk about the safety improvements along the Columbia Tap Trail. We've yet to reconvene to get clarity on what those upgrades would look like and also who would be funding those. But the lighting element for supplemental lighting, we will not be going down the trail, but the goal is to make sure that whatever lighting is decided or chosen with all of the other entities, that it'll be congruent and continued throughout the neighborhood down Holmen Street. Dawn, did you have any other questions that popped up? I don't see any on my side.
Yeah, I do. I've been hoarding questions over here. So one second. So there's a question, and it is, will the historic state markers that used to be on the Riverside Hospital site be reinstalled in someone has a note that they can share some a great resource for who to contact. So please do. If you want to share that resource, I'm going to drop my link in the, drop my email in the chat. And I do not have an answer for that question. I don't know if anyone else on the team does, but if not, I will note that question as a follow-up.
Don, I would like just to insert, that Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Harris County Precinct 1, would be is the one to contact now. And I don't know if Aljanita Scott Davis, who is Aljanita, hopefully still on, if she wanted to add anything about, is aware of anything relating to the Riverside Hospital, but that's an effort that's being addressed by the Commissioner's Court. And the exciting thing that we had in a meeting not very long ago was that was hosted by Commissioner Ellis. It was describing what kinds of effort on his part in the Commissioner's Court to locate the Harris County Health Department onto the site, to look at a planning that they shared that would restore and maintain the historical nursing facility that's close to the Holmen site, as well as the original site of the hospital, which is at the corner of Elgin and Ennis. So if you have questions, you might check with the Commissioner's office. And I don't know if Aljanita, if you wanted to comment on anything on those historic efforts or not, if you are still on.
I'm still on. It's Aljanita. Yeah, definitely there is a plan that Commissioner Ellis has and he's been talking about. And so I would encourage you to anyone who's interested in what he plans to do there, because I don't think that those plans are solid. But I do know he is very excited about having the administrative offices located on the old Riverside site, and he plans to maintain the historic buildings, which of course is my primary interest that happens. But I would just encourage you to reach out to his office and maybe speak to William Taylor, who's there, or Brandon Dudley in his office, and they could tell you more about what those plans are, because I'm certain he has someone designated to answer those questions.
Thank you. We have time for a few more questions before we close this out. This has been really great questions we've been receiving. So one question regarding the Cultural Trail project, and I don't know that I'll have an answer for you right now, but what form will it take, and will there be wayfinding and interpretive signage? I'm going to take a portion of that question as it relates to wayfinding and placemaking signage in the district. I may defer that question answer to Nikki. No, I'll take it. So in general, yes, go ahead, Nikki.
Okay, no problem. So yes, we are working to, we're working with M2L Associates to look at gateway signage and other markers throughout the district to create a cohesive network of signage and wayfinding throughout the district. The goal is to, with keeping in mind, we want to make sure that we reduce sign clutter. So we have to be really strategic and innovative in the way that we brand the district, so that we don't make anything, look overwhelming, but we want to make it inviting. So including the cultural trail, there's still the collaborative efforts are still in development. So there are no definites, but we as a district are looking to install signage throughout.
Okay, thank you. So I think we've gotten to all of the questions that have come in. I see one more. Okay. And you all, that is all that we have for this community engagement event. Want to share a few things before we close out. One, this presentation will be made available post-event, and so we'll send everyone a link with the presentation. It'll also be on the district's website, so you just look out for that. Two, because you attended this event, you are already signed up to receive information about upcoming project meetings. So, but our emails are in the chat, and you can always shoot us a note So want to let you know that that is coming your way. Each of these projects for the OST Alameda TERS will have independent meetings for which, engagement meetings for which you can be a part of. And then finally, want to encourage everyone to visit houstonse.org, sign up to receive information from the district, weekly newsletter, update district events and services and projects and things of that nature. It looks like I had one more comment sneak in here. Oh, well, this is, okay, this is, I do want to take this question because I know who's going to answer it very well. So the question for the group is, the bricks by Peggy Park are in need of repair. Is that in the plan? So in the museum park area, but still very much important question to answer.
Yes, so I'll take that question. Thank you for asking that. Yes, those items will be addressed. We are looking at our second rollout of the district hardscape and landscape repair project. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. That project is focused on addressing items just like that, the maintenance of pavers in the district, looking at different sidewalk elements, curbs, and things that impact the public realm. So yes, there will be an effort to take care of those items. Thank you so much. Dawn, if we don't have anything else, I know that we had to, one other item about our HPD partner. There is a PIP meeting on February 16th. I believe it's at 5 o'clock, Dawn, or it's 5:30? We can't hear you, Dawn, sorry.
Let me do just a double check, but I believe it's at 5 o'clock.
Okay, and the presentation will be held by the TABC, to discuss bars and clubs in the district. If you aren't aware, we have about 82 bars and clubs collectively throughout our district. So this is a very timely conversation, and we're grateful that Commander Johnson is supporting these efforts by educating and not just providing citations to those who boost our economic development in the district. And with that, Dawn, do we have anything else? Can we move forward with the closeout?
Yes, thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we will close this meeting out. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a nice evening and stay safe.
Thank you. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you,
Sean.
teams.
Gerald,
Thank you, everyone, for coming, for joining.
Brian.
Thank you.